Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and we're officially 2 weeks away from the release of Overwatch 2, but more importantly, from the release of my beloved Kiriko. But today was a glorious day for all Kiriko mains out there, because I know there's some of y'all already maining this hero, because not only did we finally get a first look at her origin story, but we also got a little glimpse of her cinematic that definitely wasn't leaked beforehand, and is definitely not out on the internet for you to watch in Spanish. But on top of that, we also got a blog post that showcased early concept art of Kiriko that also hints at the idea that at one point in development, she could have been a DPS hero, as seen with this gigantic four-sided shuriken, almost looking like it's coming out of the first episode of Naruto. Ain't no way a support hero would have been using that gigantic shuriken, and I'm so glad that eventually she was made into the hero that she is, because the way that she's able to balance out the DPS and support is phenomenal, and we finally see that with official gameplay of Kiriko. We finally get to see how much damage she does, or what kind of healing she's going to be using, or how her abilities work. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about everything that you don't already know when it comes to their brand new support hero, Kiriko. But the first thing I want to talk about is actually her origin story, because this is the thing that actually shapes her as a playable hero in Overwatch, and why she's both a support and a DPS hero. Now, growing up, she was raised by both her grandmother and her mother, where her grandmother passed on the Kitsune spirit to Kiriko, which is why we see this holographic fox running around whenever she ults, but also why she's able to have those magical healing powers. It's because her grandmother passed it down to her. Now, while Kiriko's grandmother gave her the traditional aspects about herself, her mother, on the other hand, chose the way of the blade, more of the modern style of Japanese tradition, which is why you see her throwing around kunai. It's because, well, that's the kind of weaponry that she was taught by her mother to use. But we also find out that she was trained by her mother, who also happened to train the Shimada brothers, Genji and Hanzo, which is why we see that she's able to climb up walls exactly like both of the Shimada brothers. And that's why we see this mix of traditional but modern day Japanese culture within this single hero, is because she couldn't choose which path she wanted to go down, the way of the blade or the way of the fox spirit. So she decided to go down both paths and form her own little militia group called the Yokai. This group of ragtag individuals that Kiriko bounded together, which I think Genji eventually joins, because her and Genji were really close. They always went to like the arcades together and just got in mischievous situations. But this same group also defends the people of the city from the Hashimoto clan, which is like this professional gang organization that just nobody likes. Now, of course, we'll probably find out more information about Kiriko and her backstory once the cinematic officially releases. But we also now have official gameplay of Kiriko and how she actually plays within the game of Overwatch 2. And like I said in the beginner's guide video of Kiriko, I did say that she is very welcoming of DPS players that want to try to transition into a support character, not only because, well, she has DPS elements about her that are very challenging, but the healing elements, they're pretty easy to understand and very, very, very forgiving. And we finally see that in this gameplay. Now, being that she is a professional ninja, she is using kunai as her main form weapon. I actually don't know if professional ninjas use kunai, but she does have a total of 12 kunai at her disposal, and once you run out of the 12 kunai, you do have this little reload animation where you spin your kunai around your fingers, which is just such a sweet reload animation. But we also finally get to see how much damage you do with your kunai, and like I mentioned before, if you're just getting body shots, you're only doing noodle damage. It takes a total of 5 kunai to kill a squishy, compared to getting headshots on a squishy, it only takes 2 kunai. Now, obviously, that's extremely effective against squishy heroes, because again, it only takes 2, but when it comes to the bigger, beefier tanks like Roadhog or Sigma, I do feel like you're going to be able to withstand Kiriko's kunai, so you're really going to want to focus on just trying to get the healers or the squishies that are just out of position as Kiriko, and if not, then you really got to focus and try to find a balance when it comes to healing with her, which is extremely easy to do. Comparable to Mora, you don't need to be on point when it comes to healing your targets. You can kind of be off the hitbox a little bit, and the healing papers will go and seek them. Now, you do have a total of 5 papers that does 25 heal per paper. Now, when it comes to reloading your paper, it's not like you necessarily need to reload. Just every single time you send out 5 papers, or technically, I guess 10 papers as seen at the bottom right hand corner, it just automatically reloads. It's not like you can just send half your papers half of the time and then reload. No, you just automatically send out your papers and then it refills, send out your papers, and then you reload again. And they also travel a good amount of distance too, but it's not like you're gonna be able to send your papers halfway across the map and then be able to heal them. You actually have to be somewhat in close proximity of your allies allies for them to actually track them, but once they're tracking, they're gonna be able to go and find the target, which is why she's a very forgiving healer, but not so much of a forgiving DPS hero. But let's talk about this next ability, the Protection Suzu, what I think is gonna be one of, if not the most broken abilities in all of Overwatch. It's better than Baptiste's Immortality Field, and it counters so much. It counters a Junkrat Riptire, it counters a Cold Cassidy ultimate, but not even just that, it just counters Ana's anti-grenade. It wipes away any sort of negative effect, and it grants you invincibility for a short period of time. How can people not think that this is going to be a powerful ability? Oh, I can tell you why, because it has a 14-second cooldown. Ooh, that's a long time. Even though this ability does admittedly last longer than me in bed, you're not going to be wanting to waste it on yourself. You do have a separate ability that can protect yourself if you are looking for any form of protection. So if you're going to use it on yourself, make sure you're around all of your allies, because they can also benefit from it too, because it is an AoE type of grenade ability. Because what you're going to be using as your form of protection is your Swift Step ability. This is what's going to get you out of sticky situations, or could possibly get you into sticky situations. You can teleport through walls to any ally. Just be sure not to teleport to any ally that is low on health. Now, of course, it's not like you're going to be able to Swift Step across the map, but you do have a good range. I would say anywhere from like 20 to 30 meters you're able to travel. Like, it's a good amount of distance. Just be sure not to travel your feeding teammates, even though they do say they have critical health. Just because you're able to go through walls doesn't mean you gotta follow them. Now, for the rest of Hero Kit, we already know that she's got a wall climb ability and know how that works, but we don't know how her Kasune Rush ultimate works, calling in the Fox Spirit, where they're running around and having all these structures spawn in. And what do you get if you stand in this path? Well, you move faster, you shoot faster, you reload faster, and your cooldowns are also cut at the same time. My God, this ultimate's so good! So while the cooldown number isn't technically cut in half, it is at 2 times speed, so anyone that has long cooldowns like Kiriko or Baptiste or even Soldier 76 in this example is gonna benefit heavily, because, well, not only are the cooldowns cut, but you're able to shoot a lot faster. So really, anybody that has a lot of ammo that shoots a lot, like even Orisa, can benefit from this ultimate heavily. And those were all the details involving Kiriko's Hero Kit, but also other things that you might not have known about her, whether it's her origin story or her concept art. Like, that concept art looks so beautiful. I really want to see some of those skins be brought back into actual legendary skins, whether it's for the battle pass or even for the shop. I mean, they gotta fill this shop up with skins, so why not get some of those skins and put them in the shop? I mean, that orange skin with the fox mask on the shoulder looks phenomenal, but even like her pink hair or her blue hair, shoot, I want to see that Shuriken come back somehow. But as always, let me know what you think about Kiriko, her origin story, and everything that was talked about today. Like, it was a big day for Kiriko mains, myself being one of those. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch and Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.